All right, it's Friday and I've hit a wall. This is a wall that many of my colleagues and friends who do professional YouTube for a living hit quite often and sometimes have to sort of recover from. For example, my friend Rumi is currently taking a break on YouTube. Jacksepticeye is also taking a break on YouTube. Philly D just put out a video, I think yesterday, where he mentioned probably addressing a reformatting or refiguring out his format so that it can be more sustainable. And I have loads of friends and colleagues in the art and miniature and creativity space that are constantly talking about rediscovering their passion or reinventing their channel, whether in private or in public. So this video is not looking for pity from you. It's not looking for advice. Don't tell me to take a break or don't tell me what to, I understand where that comes from and I genuinely am grateful that you care. But I just wanted to mention, I only say not to worry about that stuff because I go through this all the time and I don't show it. Sometimes I show bits about it, but I thought, you know what, if my genuine sort of reapproach with this vlog channel is just be honest with you guys, I'm going to talk about the wall I hit today and why that's a thing and what it is. Why do all us YouTubers seem to go through this weird cycle? It's kind of part of the mechanism I want to talk about. So I guess in short, I want to talk about the big pros and cons of being a successful career YouTuber. First, let's start with the pros. And the pros are this big airplane out. Ignore that. That's a sort of a little con if you're sort of running a little home studio. We're not. It's not like a TV studio. I'm just filming on a phone. This room is not soundproof. We're done. No. The pro, I don't need a big studio. I can just reach thousands of people on my phone. There you go. Anyway, pro on my main YouTube channel, which is a bit higher production quality, I have 5.24 million subscribers. But who's counting? And on this channel, I've just passed 400,000 YouTube subscribers, which is insane for a channel I've never even focused on monetizing or pushing or increasing its growth or anything like that. My main channel averages, on like an average month, not like a good month, 20 million views. I have a team of people that you've met who act as a cushion around me. I have them set up and pack up and clean and edit and prepare so that I can produce whatever I want, most of whatever I want. And on top of that, I have brands who believe that I can represent their things. And if they're things that I believe in, then they'll sponsor my videos and we'll come to some agreement where that can be this part of this awesome mechanism that empowers my creativity and projects and all this stuff. And I'm lucky enough to have sponsored videos locked in, which is, especially given the current economic climate, like just a huge blessing. Pro, I get to work on projects and products that I'm so excited about. And I don't have to go through a boardroom. I don't have to pitch to investors. I get to just make stuff. And then another pro, because I genuinely believe that this is like the most amazing platform for connectivity in the world, I feel like I know you and you know me, so that when I make stuff, you know that you can trust me and I know that you'll probably like it. So all of these things and many more are the reasons why I and many of my colleagues feel like we don't have the right to complain because, I mean, come on guys, like there are huge pros and people would kill for that stuff. They probably have and do. On paper, it's the perfect job for an expressive, creative goofball with big dreams. And in reality, it is, but there are some real catch-22s that I want to talk about and just open up about. Because while the highs are so much higher than I could have ever imagined or expected for myself and my career or creative journey, the lows are actually pretty hard to handle too. And to be completely honest with you, you get numb to the highs, but you don't get numb to the lows. So like I mentioned, we don't like to complain because it's like, my tears will roll down in crescent those of you who look up and wish you were in my position. But the reality is a lot of those amazing pros come with kind of weird catch-22s and kind of like a shadow side that isn't really talked about a lot. Like the views and the numbers, while they sound so big, and in reality they are, when that becomes your career, when you've been doing this for, in my position, 8 years and other people more, you don't see numbers, you see the graph. You're either going up or you're going down. And most of the time, by the time you get to the big numbers, it feels like more of a plateau than a climb, and you feel like you're constantly on the uphill. It's not as easy as it used to be, funnily enough. And to explain how the number thing sort of gets a bit numb, when I was passing around, I think 2 million subscribers on my main channel, this vlog channel, which I just started, passed like 1,000 subscribers. And it felt more substantial to me than passing 2 million subscribers. How weird is that? I don't know if it's that because with a small audience, you sense a visceral connection. It's like it feels really genuine and tangible. But when it's big and comments all often start to look a bit the same, and you have to sort of sift through to find some of the more thoughtful or genuine ones, and you're getting thousands of emails a week that you actually can't respond to, and all of this stuff, all of a sudden numbers become more like the graph than people. And then while you become numb to the numbers, you don't become numb to the pressure. You get better at taking on pressure, but it doesn't feel like less pressure. You just increase your capacity to hold the pressure in. Now, when you're a creative and insecure person, which, let's face it, most YouTubers are, you have a funny way of making even the good thing kind of sour, so that even if you have these big numbers, you tend to fall into the imposter category syndrome. You're either not good enough because you're comparing yourself to the people above you who you're not at their level yet, so therefore you're not good enough, or you're comparing yourself to the people below you numerically who you admire, and you feel like, well, why do I have this success? I don't deserve this. I mean, this vlog channel with 400,000 subscribers, which I've barely given any thought to growth about, I've never thought to monetize or capitalize on or anything like that, has more subscribers than many channels that I follow and admire. And that just makes me actually feel guilty, like feel bad about that. The catch of having a team of people dedicated to creating the path ahead of me and cleaning up the mess behind me is that the luxury comes with the knowledge that their livelihood depends on your ability to create the product. Now, as with any business, the bigger the team you get, the more capacity you have to grow your business, the more opportunities you can take on. That's how growing a business works. But the difference is, compared to many other businesses, I am the product. Don't get me wrong, I love making videos for you. I am so grateful to have sponsors who enable me stability and creative opportunities. However, if everyone wants a piece of the pie, and I'm the pie, the reality that we face as professional YouTubers is the realization that there are only so many pieces, but there is no cessation of demand. Is cessation a word? I hope it is, because it feels like I just said something really smart, so I'm going to pretend I did and not include this bit where I'm doubting myself. Maybe I will, because it's relatable. See, I've been doing this for a while. That is why YouTubers are prone to burnout and mental health issues. We are the products of a dichotomy between the infinite and the finite. The product grows in value infinitely, technically, because the views have no ceiling. There is no limit on subscriber growth to the platform's growth, but there is a limit to me as a person and what I can do and what I can handle mentally and emotionally with my time. And on top of that limitation comes the growth of that pressure. The trap that I and many of my colleagues and friends fall into is that we assign more of ourselves than we should. I mean, we want to make more for you and be seen by more of you. We want to do right by our sponsors and bring great things to you. And we want to do right by the people we employ and make sure they have stable work and things to work on. But all of that all falls down to an individual person most of the time in this specific example. In my situation, and what I'm referring to as far as hitting the wall, this week consisted of me sprinting through a marathon. Last week I worked late, and then on the weekend though I did enjoy portions of the weekend, mentally I couldn't let go of a design flaw in a prototype, and I essentially redesigned the prototype both in my head and then on paper because I can't help myself. And aside from producing the content and trying desperately to keep up with the schedule and adding in the vlog, which is, less pressure because I'm not editing it, but it's still more of me. Been taking calls with production partners from around the world, so there are different times of the day and night that has to happen. And then of course, yesterday in the vlog you saw, we had Ed here and we produced the first prototype and then we filmed and finished late. And that was an amazing day. But as you can imagine, and as you saw, very high energy. And all of that culminates in to today, where after a meeting and then running through several edit rough cuts and approvals, and then finally sitting down in front of this set and getting ready to film, I get a phone call, just the news of a couple of issues or things that I was relying on, very small things that in the mix of me needing the energy to just get started, I sort of just couldn't start and stopped. So that was the wall I hit. This is the wall I've hit many times before, and this is where I and many of my friends and colleagues face a choice. We can A, cancel my afternoon personal training session at 4 o'clock so that I can have enough time to film the video and then inevitably overwork and finish late and then have no energy, not look after myself and arrive to the weekend as a bit of a crappy person, not making it nice for those around me, and then starting the next week's marathon with no refilling because I've sort of spoiled it for myself. Or B, I could recognize that I'm human. There are only so many pieces of me and I tend to assign too much and just put this on hold until next week and put myself first so I can refuel. Now, fortunately, I'm choosing B. In fact, just at the door was my personal trainer. So I'm going to have to wrap up this video and I'm going to go refuel, take care of myself, and I will come back next week energized and feeling better. But I guess all I'm saying is all too often and almost by default, I choose A and others in this industry choose A. Choosing B is really hard. And that's why you're seeing all these creators with burnout and breaks, because algorithmically A is rewarded. A is the option that enables us to give more, even if we may not have all of that to give. Because you see, there are only so many times you can choose A before there aren't any options at all. So I'm just recording this video because I thought I'd share a bit of that process. And it is a process I've gone through countless times. I go through it every couple of weeks. It is a part of this career path. So if you want to be a career YouTuber, it's part of it. You should be aware of that. And I'm just being completely honest about it. There are some wonderful parts of this job, but there are some incredibly difficult to manage and constantly learned elements that are always adjusting. The platform itself is always changing. Many of my colleagues don't know what the future holds. I don't know what the future holds. We're constantly reinventing ourselves and trying to find the way to keep the train going. But in that effort and in that drive, option A, option A, option A, that's where we hit the walls that we can't recover from, or we need to step back and take a break from. So I haven't hit that kind of wall, and I have had my emotional outlet. I have had a supportive conversation with my wife. I am putting myself first, and I'm going to recover and rejuvenate on the weekend. But if I'm going to be honest and let you guys in and behind the curtains, I just thought I'd share that. Now, I have been better at choosing option B lately, but the reason I'm sharing this is because it's the reason that you see it happening. And I'm not saying it for pity, and I'm not saying it for views, and I'm not telling you I'm needing to take a break or I'm having a breakdown or close to any of that. I'm just telling you that the career involves riding close to that more than it should and more than is people's fault. Because if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I believe that YouTube, the algorithm and all of the mechanisms around being a YouTuber actually support and encourage people's over expenditure, because we are the resource that keeps the platform growing. So just keep that in mind and look after the people that are trying to look after you, and we'll all look after each other. But yeah, I don't know what the moral is. I don't have a moral. All I know is I'm late from a personal training session, and then I'm going to have a weekend. So thanks for joining me on the vlog, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm not going to take a question of the day because I've reached my capacity. I'll see you next week.